welcome and thank you for being with us today for this webinar organized by the German Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Morocco in collaboration with the Frankfurt International Bank AG and Euler Hermes. We are going to talk about the success factor when it comes to international business and project development, and that's financing. Export financing is often the missing piece in turning an opportunity into a real business case. So today you will get an overview of how it works and how it can help you move forward with projects, especially when sourcing capital goods from Germany. So to guide us through today's topic, we are joined by two experts who know this field inside out. Eckhard Kreuzburg, member of the executive board at the Frankfurt International Bank, and Matthias Klarholz, business consultant at Euler Hermes. So to help you follow the structure of today's session, here's a quick overview of what to expect. So first, we will look at export credit guarantees as a general framework to secure exports and enable financing. And then we will dive into buyer credits as a specific instrument to finance the purchase of the capital goods. So just a quick reminder before we begin. So we will have Q&A session at the end. So you can use the Q&A box to submit your question anytime, and then we will get to them after the presentation. This session is also being recorded, and we will share the replay with you afterwards. So before we dive into, I'm happy to hand over the floor to Katharina Felgenhauer, CEO of the German Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Morocco, for a few opening remarks. Katharina, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Marion, and also good morning from my side to those joining. I see the list in front of me. We have quite a few people who joined us from Germany, but we also have some attendees who, as far as I know, are based here in Morocco, which is exciting for us because for the German Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Morocco, of course, those bilateral relations take priority. But I see that we have some colleagues who are working on international affairs globally, and I'm very positive that today's session will apply also to other geographies. So we're quite excited to be offering something that is hopefully of great value to all of you, and also to us as a German Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Morocco. Just to set the scene, Marion also already mentioned it. We are currently working with around about 950 member companies. And of course, in any business, but particularly in buyer decisions and investment decisions, in capital investment, larger scale investments, the topic of finance, of course, is an all-time favorite to be solved. It is good to be able to offer some practical advice. And I can only second what Marion already said. We're very, very grateful to Eckhard Kreuzberg and to Matthias Klarholz for being available today and for sharing their expertise. And you will see that we will cover both existing instruments that have been around for quite some time, albeit evolving. But you will also hear, especially from Eckhard Kreuzburg, some latest developments. Some of them are not even a year old, as far as I understand. So a timely session, very interesting for us as well, and hopefully for you. The room is filling up, so I think we can start diving into the topic. Marion already said we will share the content, but also don't hesitate to reach out to us at the German Chamber of Commerce and Industry for any question you may have after the session about the session or for anything else that relates to German-Moroccan business relations. Do enjoy, make use of the Q&A sessions, and I think it's time we dive straight into the topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Katharina. And yes, now let's begin with the first part of the webinar. Matthias, the floor is yours.
Salam alaikum, bonjour, und ein herzliches Grüß Gott from Munich, which is literally the same as Salam alaikum. I hope there are many car enthusiasts in this meeting. And why do I ask for cars and not talking about the Export Credit Agency? there is a funny coincidence that we are still talking about horsepowers regarding cars and machinery. But does anybody of you know where the name came from? And when you think it's about cars, no, it's not. This is a marketing claim from a guy called James Watt. So why does somebody where the unit is named after himself choose a different name for it? As I mentioned before, it's a marketing claim because he sold steam engines to mines to pump water out of those mines. And at that moment, or at that time, horses were pumping, going in a circle, the water out of mines. So he needed a catchphrase that the mine owners understood what his steam engine is capable of. But that wasn't enough because he became so successful with the steam engine, which he didn't invent. Some people think he invented it, and a marketing claim wasn't enough. He also provided financing, and that is something most people don't know. And when we are talking about financing, then we are always talking about collateral and security as well. And that's when the German government, the export credit agency, Euler Hermes, is coming into consideration. And I will start with my short presentation. And hopefully you can see everything. As mentioned before, collateral. What does it mean for you, and especially what is your business doing with that?
May I
hope you can
interrupt,
see.
Matthias? Just
Yes.
if you can put the presentation in full screen, because we see the PowerPoint not in.
Okay, I did, but wait a sec. Is it better?
Not yet for me.
Okay.
Ansicht.
Yes, I've been there, but it's something with Zoom, I guess. So it's it's better now?
Not yet.
No.
Okay, screen. I'll try it differently. I would love to say that we didn't plan this, but we had a meeting just a few minutes before and it worked. But yeah, you never know what happens. Now you can see the whole screen.
Not
No.
yet.
Okay, now I opened the full presentation mode. Does it work now?
No.
No.
Now?
No.
No, not yet.
Probier mal oben in der Leiste auf Ansicht und dann Lesemodus.
Ja.
Leseansicht, ja.
Ah, perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, sorry for that. Technical issues. As mentioned before, the Federal Republic of Germany provides collateral for you as German exporter and for you as Moroccan importers. They can provide you with credits. So that is in general what we are doing. We are doing that on behalf of the German government. Euler Hermes is an agency which is responsible for this program since over 75 years for the German government. That's why it's called Hermes cover in Germany, because of Euler Hermes as the service provider. And when we look at Morocco as a country, for once we see that it is a compact with Africa country. So for German exporters, it's an advantage. Why? Because if you fill out an application for Morocco for the first time, you don't need to pay an application fee. And as you can see, the cover for Morocco is fairly low. We are talking about roughly 100 million in the last year, and our cover policy has no restriction at all. So why is it so low, and why is it mostly short-term or just short-term cover from our side? There are different reasons. On the one hand, it's French in Morocco is a necessity. So French contract, etc., and the language barrier can be a problem for mostly English speaking, and negotiations and contracts in English be a problem. Then there is big funding from Europe to Morocco, especially for big projects. Another reason is that there is a fairly low interest rate in Morocco. So hopefully, especially for small and medium size projects, the financing can be a good solution, and hopefully in the next years there will be a higher cover from the German government, and also a higher cover for loans above 360 days up to 20 years, which is the most extensive credit period available. This is mainly about financing. We had a question in advance about short-term cover. Mainly there are two different kinds of financing from Germany to you as a foreign importer. That is, on the one hand, the so-called supply credit. So you get funded by your German exporter directly. This supplier credit can be, as you see in this example, for a 3-year credit, but it can also be on short-term notice. So from our side, there is no difference about the credit period. So it can be short-term, it can be long-term. And I don't want to go through all our products, but because that would be too much for this short introduction. But you can also use the products of the German government for short term, as mentioned, but also not case by case, but as a so-called whole turnover cover. If you have Morocco and other countries in that region, for example, you can also use it for a quasi LC confirmation. So if your bank is not able to give you a confirmation of your LC, you can use this supplier credit cover as well. Another thing that the German government provides, as I mentioned, we are talking about collateral and security, is the fabrication risk cover. So if you don't know if your counterpart is still in exist when you have a long-term production period, for example, 1, 2, 3 years, then you can also cover those risks from our side. And if financing is not possible and you usually work with bonds, so payment in advance bonds, performance bonds, etc., and your lines at your local bank, this is for the German exporters, reach the ceiling, then we can provide you with counter guarantees for your banks. So yeah, that you can issue those banks for the Moroccan importers. The buyer credit will be described by Eckert, so I won't go into details. And yeah, I'm living in Bavaria, but there's next to Bavaria there is Baden-Württemberg, and usually the first question they will ask me is, "What does it cost?" And you will find the QR code, so you as an importer can already calculate what are the costs you have to calculate with. And this is also available for German exporters as well. We provide you with a detailed calculation, of course. If you want, just contact us. But for first glance, just yeah, use this site as well, and you can give your importer from abroad a roughly figure of the costs. So what are the usual steps you have to take to use the program from the German government? Talk with us. Please contact us. What are the projects you are planning? What tenors do you wish? Have you already German suppliers? And of course, when do you want to start? And if you need somebody in your region as an importer, don't hesitate. We have several so-called financing experts in your region. In that case, Ms. Eva Steinhaus is responsible for you in Northern Africa, and yeah, they will be available under those contacts. So please don't hesitate. They will explain everything you need to know, what are the procedures, etc. And for the German exporters, yeah, we are not far away as well. You will find us in your region, and we are available as well. But of course, it's always possible that we all connect together. So our consultants, our financing experts, and of course the foreign customer and the German exporter, which helps a lot. As mentioned before, why is there so little cover? Sometimes it's because of language barriers and not enough dialogue between all parties. And that was already my brief introduction of the export credit agency Euler Hermes. And yeah, I hope you have many questions, and I will be happy to answer all of those.
Thank you very much, Matthias, for your presentation, for your insights, and also for all the contact details. And we will share them again with the participants afterwards. So now I'm very happy to hand over Mr. Kreutzburg for the exports credits. So Edgard, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everybody. I'm really glad to have the opportunity to introduce FIB and the buyer credit product. So hope you can see my chart on your screen right now.
Yes, yes.
That's pretty good. We are a little bit special animal. We are an animal you may not have heard too much about it, which is pretty clear because we are only existing for about half a year. We are a very vertical bank with a unique business model that is focusing on what we name mission critical products in underserved markets. And we are only standing on 2 feet, 2 pillars. One is the export financing, and particularly export financing in what the market is naming small tickets. This is a range in loan volumes starting at 500,000 euros, going up to approximately 10 million. If it's 11, 12, no problem at all. If you are looking for 50 million or something like that, then there are plenty of other banks who are doing it. But this so-named small ticket segment in the past definitely was not or almost not served by banks. That's why we have chosen to put ourselves in this market. On the other hand side, we are offering a pretty unique model of accounts supporting foreign students who are going to study in Germany with a so-named blocked account that is needed to get a visa. And this product also is definitely underserved. There is no bank directly offering it. And that's why we have combined these two segments of business. Today, we are talking about export financing and export financing. What do it mean? It's a cross-border loan. It's a loan out of Germany to buyers all around the world. In our particular talks today for buyers in Morocco. And as far as we are concerned, it is focusing on capital goods made in Germany. We have two key requisites. We need Euler Hermes. We need an export credit guarantee, and we need an exporter, because exporter is the spider in the net between us and between the buyers. We have set up a very simple way how exporters can submit applications and get term sheets to hand over to the buyers. It's our Exportal, where in let's say 10 minutes, all information necessary can be filed. And within 24 hours, the exporter will get an indicative term sheet back, which is individually designed based on the information we have gotten about the intended export deal and the potential buyer. As already said, we always need this export credit guarantee, and we are really walking hand in hand with Matthias and its colleagues at Euler Hermes. And because of that, a buyer credit has to follow some specific rules, which are not German rules, which are not single countries or single bank rules, but rules framing the official export credit guarantees within the OECD countries. Most important is an importer always has to do a down payment of at least 15%, which has to be submitted directly to the exporter. The maximum maturity of our buyer credits is defined by the value of the export contract, and in our range, on average, is 5 years. It sometimes is a 6 or 7 years tenor, but mainly it's 90 to 95% of all offers and deals we have done indeed is 5 years. and repayment is happening in semi-annual installment in arrears. The involved parties, in a nutshell, are the importer and the exporter who are concluding an export contract. The exporter who then may file for an application with FIB, a loan contract that would be concluded directly between us and the buyer, and clear the export credit guarantee which is issued by the Federal Republic of Germany via Euler Hermes. If you ask, and why the hell shall I deal with it? If we look from the two possible sides, as an exporter, you are increasing your chances to close a deal if you offer equipment plus financing. As said, getting an offer is pretty simple via our portal, and you will turn the deal into a cash deal because you are fully paid at delivery with no remaining repayment risk and thus no strain on your liquidity. This is a little bit the differentiation to the supplier credit Matthias also was showing, where the exporter finally is acting as a lender, has to administer his loan to his buyer over the full term, and in the first line is taking all risk, finally covered partially at least by Euler Hermes, but is in the first line taking all risk with regards to this financing. And as a buyer, as an importer, you will get a term loan with, as said, an average of 5 years tenor. Usually, there is no additional collateral necessary besides of the export credit guarantee. You do not have any strain on your local credit lines. We are deciding relatively quickly. Clear, there are some requirements that enables us to take a decision. I will come to this right in a second. And we think there is an overall attractive pricing, and lowest interest rate in the world is not always the only criteria to take a decision how to finance a piece of equipment. Maintaining local liquidity, taking your local credit lines unburdened and things like that also may be a particular important factor in decision making. To come to a credit decision, we need relatively clear financial statements, last 3 full consecutive years. If you have explanatory notes, it make life of our credit analysts much more easy. We always like to know how things are moving by today, which means interim figures are of help, and we love to understand the business model you are in, and are always very grateful if you have some kind of a presentation about what you are doing, why you are doing, and how you are doing. And driven by banking regulation, we also always need a forecast calculation which should take into account what you want to invest. In addition, as a bank, we have some formal requirements regarding the know your customer and money laundering processes, which means we have to know who are your shareholders, what is the ownership structure looking like, to identify what's named UBO, the ultimate beneficial owner. Therefore, excerpt of the commercial or trade register, articles of association, business licenses, etc., are of help. And to come into a contract, we have to know who is allowed to sign at the end of you as a borrower. And we have to identify for anti-money laundering purposes the individuals acting for your company, and if it is an individual, also the ultimate beneficial owner. That, in a nutshell, is what we do and what Credit is looking like, and I'm really, really happy to answer any question you may have. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Eckhard and Matthias. That was very insightful. So we are now going to open up the floor for questions. So if you haven't already, feel free to type your questions in the Q&A box, and I will read them out loud and direct them to our speakers. So let's start with the first question that came in. It's a question for Matthias. Are you able to offer financing for the defense industry, including ECA financing?
Yes, fortunately, we are now allowed to offer a cover, which doesn't mean that we can finance it. That is still the job of the banks. But there was a so-called Maßnahmenpaket of the German government at the end of January, and now we are allowed to cover those. It's written in the BAFA-Verordnung 33, and there are the main topics you will find. And in those cases, for us, these defense products aren't defense products anymore. And if your case is not covered by the BAFA Rule 33, then please contact us directly, and we will look into your business case.
I may add, and I didn't speak this out loud, we are in general prepared to finance wherever Euler Hermes is willing to give cover, which is including defense.
Thank you very much. And is this also in combination with the KfW?
It depends what direction your question is going. If KfW has to finance bigger projects, they have to talk for themselves. Partially, we are refinancing our good selves via KfW, but frankly, I haven't investigated if defense is some kind of an issue to them, because I hadn't the case so far. And if it would be like that, we would have other opportunities for refinancing. So we are not dependent on KfW, but we like to deal with them whenever it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much. I hope this answered the question. Are there some common sectors or types of projects that typically qualify for the export financing?
Well, from a bank's point of view, whenever we are having capital goods and whenever we are talking about tenor of at least 2 years, in general, it is qualifying, and then maybe you have to dig a little bit deeper if we are going to oil and gas industry, if we are going to assets that could damage environmental or things like that.
Yeah, there are some restrictions still in place. Of course, nuclear power would be another example, and but when we see it from our point of view, there is no constraint in services or capital goods, so we cover both. There needs to be, from our side, a German exporter with a legal entity in Germany, and on the other hand, we need German content. This German content rule was before 51% German content. It was different for whole turnover covers, which meant that it's also possible with 100% foreign content. And this new program I just talked about, which is in place since a few months, is also available for German exporters to receive a so-called exporter pass. So the local content isn't an issue for 3 years as well. So there are hardly any restrictions from our side anymore, but of course there are restrictions from the OECD consensus, etc., which is the general international framework. But yeah, that is usually widely known for financing, and yeah, that is just part of the financing. But especially for short-term credit, there aren't restrictions of the structure of a loan.
Thank you very much. And can Euler Hermes combine tied and untied financing? And if yes, under what conditions and for what maximum maturity? Matthias?
So
yes.
from our side, untied, or what we understand from untied, so it's just the financing by the bank, and combined is usually with the bank. Both ways are possible, but there are many banks, and at the moment, most banks, they want to have a combined cover. It doesn't make a difference from the cost side, because both parties have to they are charged the same premium and fees, so there's no difference. But on the other hand, the German exporter, when we are talking about the combined cover or combined financing, then there are the risk, for example, of the payment of the buyer's credit is covered as well if this buyer credit, of what reasons, is not going into action. So both ways are possible, but at the moment most banks, and I guess you as well, Eckhard, do that as well, is the combined financing.
Yes, it is.
All right. Thank you. We got a remark about the QR code for the cost calculation, who is apparently not functioning. Is there any other possibility to make?
I just have put a link in the chat.
Okay, amazing, perfect, very good. Is it possible for the buyer to end the credit agreement earlier than agreed? And if yes, what will be the cost for that?
This is a nice one. We are working on a flexible interest base, which means 6 months Euribor plus our margin. As I was saying earlier, repayment scheme is semi-annual in arrears. I don't like to say it, but indeed, to each rollover date you can pay back without cost.
All right. Thank you very much. And what is the range of interest and costs, and what do they depend on?
So there's a very wide range. So the main factor is the country risk. So, for example, Morocco is a fairly good country from our side. It's in the country risk category 3. The categories go from 1 up to 7. So in that case, I just sent you the premium calculator I mentioned before. So you will find the link as well. Just scroll down and then you will find it. And that can range from less than 0.5% annually from our side, just for the cover, up to 2-3% annually per cover. So, for example, if you have a 10-year financing in a country risk region of 7, you can calculate with 10-15% in advance. And then you have to calculate an annual interest rate. But the main driver is the country risk, and the other driver is the risk category of the buyer. So we will look at the figures, we will make credit analysis, and after that analysis we will give a credit rating which is from 0 up to 5, and that can drive the interest rate up as well. But there is no difference in the amount. So it doesn't make any difference if you will ask for a cover for a 100 million project or a 1 million project. So our premium is linear.
Okay, thank you for this answer. Yes.
What maybe was not said until now is the premium for Euler Hermes normally is put on top of the loan amount and financed over the tenor. This may be important regarding liquidity management, and what are the to be expected margins at our end is also depending on the credit of the potential borrower, but also different to Euler Hermes on the size of a loan. The smaller the loan, the higher is the interest, and to give you a range, at least a range, it can start at a margin of something like 350 basis points, and it can go down to 250 or even a little bit lower.
Okay, thank you very much. And another question, when does the tenor of repayment start? From shipment or from commissioning of the equipment?
This is definitely depending on the agreements in the export contract. It can it is depending on the Incoterm chosen, and if it is a simple delivery, it is the date of delivery. If you have a little bit more complex production to be set up, it also can be the date of operational readiness. Delivery, operational readiness, mean weighted delivery, mean weighted operational readiness are possibilities, and they are marking what in the export credit guarantee is named the starting point. This date is marking that 6 months after, exactly 6 months after, the first repayment is due. And repayment is calculated with a linear amortization and decreasing interest calculation.
Okay, thank you very much for this answer. And normally, how long does it take for an application to receive an answer, whether it's a rejection or approval?
It depends on the amount, and I want to answer a question before. What is the credit amount feasible for what credit period? So usually when you are between or less than 300,000 euros, then there is a 3-year credit period possible. If you're above 300,000, then up to 5 years is no problem at all. And if you want to have a credit period which is 10 or at max for new renewable energies 22 years, then we are talking about several tens of millions. So we can provide you with the usual amounts if you're interested in. And what was the other question? How long does it take? Yes, it depends. So if we already knew the foreign customer, then it can go a lot quicker, and it depends on the country as well. So our fastest way, if it's a country with below 5, if it's below 5 years and below 5 million, and it's a so-called click and cover country, then you will have a decision within 2 weeks. And so our usual decision time will be between 4 to 8 weeks, you have to consider. And then it depends of the amount, as mentioned before. So if we have to go to the interministerial committee, then it can take just 1 or 2 weeks longer. If it's below 15 million, the amount is below 50 million, it starts at 7 million. But if it's above that threshold, then you have to calculate at least 1 month more, because we have to give all the information to the government 2 weeks before this committee meeting, and this meeting is just once a month. So you will see if you're just 1 day too late, then you have to wait for the next committee. So in that case, please calculate with at least 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
And the whole turnover cover for not long financing, short-term financing, our average answer time at the moment is 15.1 days. So fairly quick.
That's true. So for the biocredit, since it's a new solution existing about like half a year, have till now Moroccan importers already benefited from this credit so far?
No, we had applications out of 17 countries all over Africa, but none for a Moroccan buyer. And I've just seen my link in the chat only was going to the panelists. Maybe you can share it to the audience.
Yes, I will do it right away. Okay. Yes, thank you very much. Are there other questions? I'm just having a look on the chat. In any case, we are always available also afterwards. We will of course share the presentation via email, send also and share the contact details. I'm also looking at the time, and I think that we have gone through almost all the questions. So yes, I think it's time to thank you, Eckhard and Matthias, for sharing your expertise with us today. We hope for the participants that the session gave you some concrete ideas on how to better structure and secure the financing of your projects with German partners. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at AHK Morocco. We will be happy to connect you with the colleagues. Yes, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you at one of our upcoming events. Have a great day. And yes, thank you very much again.